Hello, everybody. Good evening. Welcome to our public meeting. I'm gonna sing a couple of songs. When life lends a hand, it's time to open up your heart. It is time to love one another. It's time to take part. Vibrate our ways, loving and serving everyone. Vibrate our ways, loving and serving everyone. When we give our heart in charity, our lives are transforming into songs. Our dreams become reality, and we join Jesus for eternity. Vibrate our ways, loving and serving everyone. Vibrate away, loving and serving everyone. When we give our heart and charity, our lives are transforming into song. Our dreams become reality, and we join Jesus for eternity. Love in action. Oh, Jesus, here I am, my knees on the floor, to say thank you, my Lord, for the life that come through this door. Your love is the key to change the entire world. Using these chains wisely, we will live in peace and harmony. Now I understand, helping others is helping myself. Your words now are so crystal clear. Your teachings have no frontiers. To see all these transformations, we just have to put love in action. To see all these transformations, connection.
What is reincarnation? Would you like to know more about it? So join us to study and learn together about this and many other topics.
Wherever you are, glowing seeds of love, as our Master Jesus taught. You will see that behind every sight there's a flame shining bright, tiny spark created by God. I will follow your path, Father, 'cause nobody is alone in life, and the scars of my destiny will be healed by your love. Disseminate wherever you are, glowing seeds of love, as our Master Jesus taught. As our Master Jesus taught.
Another day, another flower, another minute past the hour. Someday the sky is blue, and suddenly we can't see through. And every day is a fresh new start, when the sun turns off the moonlight. We get another chance to choose the road we want to cruise, and on the other side of the mountain there's always a whole new road, the new beginning calling after every end. There are a million reasons to pick you up after every fall. It's always a win in the new ride. side of the mountain, there's always a whole new road. And the new beginning calling after every end. And there are a million reasons to pick you up after every fall. It's always a win in the new round. It's always a win in the new round. It's always a win in the new round. It's always a win in the new round.
When I go in to pray, I look for my good Jesus. And when I close my eyes, I can feel all His light. I open my heart for all He has to say. He shows me the best way I can enjoy my life. Jesus, Jesus, they never we apart. Please bring all your light to shine inside my heart. Jesus, Jesus, I can be content. I have your endless love and your protecting hand.
Hello, everyone. Good evening. We'd like to thank everyone to join us in our public meeting. And thank you very much. Before we start, we'd like to share a couple of announcements. First of all, turn off your phone if it's possible on the notifications. After you can find a quiet place for you to relax and listen those teachings from Jesus Christ. We also want to inform you that our meeting has 30 minutes speaking, presentation, and after 10 minutes questions and answer. And after that, a spiritual treatment. A spiritual treatment, what it is. We're gonna start saying about the water, magnetized water. Please set aside a container with the water to be magnetized during the spiritual treatment. I have
Hi. Have you ever wondered about how life is in the spiritual world? Would you like to know more about it? Join us to study and learn together about this and many other topics.
Do you want to know more about Spiritism? Come and join us and get to know Spiritism. We're going to start a new cycle, a new period in September 10th, and the classes start at 5:15 p.m. So everybody is welcome on a free course. And also, we'd like to invite you to follow us uh, on the Instagram, on the Facebook, and Spiritist Canada YouTube, and also a Spiritist group Path of Light in YouTube and Instagram. So to start our meeting, we're gonna do a opening prayer, and I ask you to join us, if it's possible. Close your eyes and think about Jesus Christ in these moments. Say, thank you, Lord, for the opportunity to be here, sharing those moments. Thank you, Master Jesus Christ. And also, we ask you a permission to start our nights, to start our meeting tonight. Asking also, allow the good spirits to be with us. Allow the spirits that always pray and do for us, and especially for our speaker tonight. Your light can be over her to interpret your teachings, giving us the opportunity to understand a little bit more about your gospel. So be with us tonight and forever. Thank you, Lord. So I'm very happy to be here, but I still have a couple of little things that I want to ask you. We'd like to announce that our public meeting is being retransmitted today by Continental Conference Americas to their Facebook, and also retransmit every Wednesday through the Kardec Radio, Facebook, and YouTube. And the time is 5 p.m. our time every Wednesday. And tonight we have the happiness to talk about the Gospel Spiritism, Chapter 10, Blessed are the Merciful, items 5 to 8 and 18, Reconciliation with One's Adversaries. And our speaker for tonight, is our sister Larissa from London. Welcome to Larissa. How are you
Hey,
today?
good night. How are you,
I'm
Publio?
I'm okay. I'm happy to see you again here between us.
Yeah, thank you
No,
for having me. And
And
how is Toronto today? Is it a lot of thunderstorm this week for you or?
no, today. This week is very very hot, like a summer, in the end of the summer, end
Mhm.
of the season. The schools start on Tuesday. We have a big holiday on Monday, but we are very happy tonight because we have you talking about the gospel according to Spiritism, bring us so many reflections, and I'm really excited to listen to your comments.
Thank you. So
Welcome.
let's start. So, good evening, everyone. It's a pleasure to be here tonight with you again. And today, the topic of today's meeting will be reconciliation with one's adversaries, like Publio have mentioned before. And it's still under chapter 10, Blessed are the Merciful, and it's covering items 5 to 8 and item 18. So I want to start saying that at first glance, we can see the topic and think that we may have some knowledge on this specifically, right? Because As we know that we are incarnated spirits, that we are here in this material life to experience we are living here to in our journey to progress, we 100% sure have experience with reconciliation. So having maybe committed some wrong with someone from our family or at a workplace, that we need to go back and ask for forgiveness, or even given the forgiven. So at first, we can think that this is very self explanatory. However, I want you to experience the talk today and leave today with a greater understanding of reconciliation and forgiveness of the offenses, and how important it is for us to put these teachings into practice. And we will see this topic, of course, with the lenses of Spiritism and the Gospel teachings from Jesus, right? So I would like to start with a passage from the Gospel where Jesus says, "Be reconciled as quickly as possible with your adversary, while you are with him on the way, so that he does not hand you over to the judge, and so that the judge doesn't hand you over to the minister of justice, and so that you may not be imprisoned. Verily, I say to you, that you will not live there as long as you have not paid the last penny." And we can see this passage from the book of Matthew, chapter 5, verse 25 to 26. And the message of the Christ here comes to show us that we are on our way with our adversaries. That is, with people who, for some reason, are going to cause us harm, or even people that we may cause harm to them. And on this journey, that is like our incarnation, we will have countless opportunity to resolve any disagreements that we may be faced to. However, Jesus emphasized, Jesus emphasized that if this is not resolved, there will be consequences. So if we see in the passage, it says that if we don't reconcile with our adversary, or the people that we maybe we have some grudges, it happens that like maybe that person will hand us over to the judge, and then the judge will hand so we see that it's escalating, right? So that's where we can see that if this teaching is not put into practice, we will probably have consequences on our life because of that. And the practice of forgiveness not only has an effect on our moral character, but it also has a physical effect. And if we think, we can see a lot of articles saying that, like, science already has proven that forgiving someone brings us a great effect on our health, because it lessened our anxiety, our stress, can improve our mental health. It makes our immune system stronger, and many others. So, and you can definitely think about a past situation where you were, maybe you were not the offender, but maybe you were the victim. How did you feel, right? And when that situation was resolved, either the person that caused you harm went back to you and asked for forgiven and you accepted, try to think, how did you feel on that situation, right? So we instantly feels better with a situation that is resolved, right? So that is one of the physical effects that these passages is saying to us. But we also have the physical effect that it's more connected to the spiritual side of these connections and these and the practice of forgiveness. So we know that death does not free us from our enemies. We know that as immortal spirits, we are in this journey of enlightenment, and our incarnation here in the material world is only temporary. So, therefore, it's important for us to remember that even if we die today, let's say, and we go back to the spiritual world, we are not free from our enemies or from our adversaries and all the situations that we may have caused in a negative way, right? And that's why Jesus advises us to resolve and repair as quickly as possible the wrongs that one has committed against one's neighbor, and to forgive one's enemies in order to eliminate before death all motives of dissension and all causes based on ulterior animosity. So, if we allow that hurtful situations or events take root on us, we ended up connecting ourselves spiritually in a negative way to people who may have done us harm, or those that we have been the ones causing harm, right? So either way, we, and like, if we don't have this thinking of reconciling and resolving the situation, we ended up being connecting spiritually with those spirits, incarnated or disincarnated, that are like influencing us in a negative way. So, for true forgiveness is done with sincere repentance, and it comes to resolve the misunderstanding, and it ends up disconnecting any negative connection between the offender and the offended. So, in this way, one may make of an obstinate enemy in this world a friend in the other, or at least put oneself on the side of the good, and God will not allow the one who has forgiven to be target of vengeance. So it's important for us to emphasize that we are only responsible for our own actions. And that is why, if we truly repent and give forgiveness with sincerity of the heart, we are doing our part, even if the person who receives it does not accept it or prefers to remain resentful. So there can be those cases where we notice that we had uh, um, an action that it was negative towards someone. It can be in our family, it can be in our workplace or with our friends. And then when we notice that we made that mistake, if we truly try to resolve it in the way of asking for forgiveness, and like really try to show that person specifically that we ended up having a misjudgment or acting in the wrong way, We assume a lot of times, a lot of things based on our own background. So this ended up always making us commit a lot of actions that are not the best. So if we really humble ourselves and go back to the person and try to resolve the issue, uh, that's our part to do it, right? And in the same way, if we are the victim, let's say, right? So someone causes harm, someone maybe said something that it wasn't good, and we ended up being offended by it. And creating maybe like a misconception about that person. If the person comes to us with the same intention of reconciling, it would be in our responsibility to accept that or not, right? So what I'm trying to say is that if we do our part, either by giving or receiving forgiveness for any offenses that we may face, God will not allow us to be targets of revenge, right? Especially like in the even either in like for the incarnated our incarnated life or in the spiritual world as well, because we know that we are surrounded by spirits, and they can either be the ones that that are with us in the journey and giving us the advice, the good advices, but we know that we also have the ones that still are not wanting us to progress, right? Because of our past lives. We will talk about a little bit about later today. But basically, that's what that's what the spirits are saying here, is that if we do our part, so if we put ourselves on the side of the good, meaning we are trying to do our best to resolve and to reconcile, we first, of course, like notice that we did the wrong, right? And then we try to resolve it. That means that God will not allow that any bad influence or any connection related to that that may cause us harm to happen. So that's a good thing, and that's one of the motives that we need to have to put in practice this lesson today. So, reconciling with our adversaries is not only with a view to mitigating discords during our current existence, but rather to keep them from continuing in future ones. The passage says, "You will not live there," meaning the prison, "as long as you have not paid the last penny." And what it means is that if we do not have completely satisfied God's justice. So that's what I was talking about. We, like, as a spirit, as spirits, and according to Spiritism, we know that the current life, it's just temporary, right? And we will probably live many other lives. So if we are in this journey, in this current existence, if we are collecting enemies, let's say adversaries, we already know that in after death we will not be free from them. So what Jesus is trying to tell us in this passage, it's really that there is future lives that you can prevent uh, to have any animosities with these current enemies, let's say. And even if we try to reconcile as much as we can in this current life, it means that those spirits will probably become they can become friends in the next lives. or either they can become someone neutral to us. So what that is really important. We need to think in the long run, right? If our goal here is the progress, we need to do our best to, let's say, not keep a lot of debts for the next life. And the other thing that I want you to think about it is that in this current existence, we know already what are our weakness. We probably, depending on the age that we probably know already if we have any problems with any kind of vices or any problems with determined situations. And what I want to say with that is that we don't know how it's going to be our next reincarnation, right? How it's going to be our next life. And that's where the escalation that Jesus let us know in that passage tell us, right? So if we don't reconcile something today that we are together and that maybe we have the best opportunity or the let's say we are here and we have like the count like I was saying, right? We have countless opportunities to deal with that today. If we live to the next lives, maybe we will be in different conditions, right? We don't know really. And that means that it can escalate to something that is way harder to resolve. And this will all, of course, it will cause way more pain for us to resolve, right? So that's one of the beauties of the gospel, is that Jesus let us know that we can deal with anything that we are passing through in this current life, right? Even though it's hard, depending on the situation, right? It can be really challenging for us to humble ourselves and ask for forgiveness, depending, of course, the level of the gravity of the situation. But if it happens in this current life, we probably have conditions to resolve in this life. And I want you to think about that. That like way less that we can live to the next life. It's a better way of thinking than just like, okay, no, I can deal with that in the next one, right? We know that we have plenty opportunities, but we don't know what will be our condition. So we will need to repair and redeem for all the wrongs that we have done. And like the Spirit says here, until God's justice is completely satisfied. This is another passage from the gospel that gives us another view of what reconciling with our adversaries means. If therefore, when you present your offering on the altar, you remember that your brother has something against you, leave your gift at the foot of the altar and go first to be reconciled with your brother, and afterward return to offer your gift. And it's in the book of Matthew again, chapter 5, 23rd to 24th. So when Jesus said, go first to be reconciled with your brother before presenting your offering at the altar, he's teaching that the sacrifice that is most pleasing to God is the sacrifice of one's resentment. That before presenting oneself to God in order to be forgiven by Him, it is necessary to have forgiven first. and that if a wrong has been committed against any brother or sister, it is necessary to have repaired it before going to God to ask forgiven. Because only then will the offering be pleasing, because it will come from a heart purified of every evil thought. So in this case, Jesus is talking about material sacrifices here, but it's important to understand that it's because Jesus, like, because of the background of that era, right? So the Jews back in that time were used to offering material sacrifices, so Jesus had to adapt his words to their customs, so then they would understand back in that time, right? But basically, what we are talking here is that I'm sure that we all have been there, right? We pray to God, like to ask for his forgiven because we may have done something that it wasn't nice, right? But why we can't do the same to our sister and our brothers, right? So that's what it's saying here, is that how can God forgive us if we are not able, or we are not willing to do that to our brother and sister that we may have caused any harm, or that they may have caused us any harm, right? So if we truly ask for forgiven, or accept the forgiven from a brother, from a sister, right? And then this will mean that we will be, let's say, in good eyes for God, right? Because we are doing the same as he always does with us, right? I'm sure that we all here have been in many situations where we ended up making mistakes because we are imperfect spirits, right? So that's another thing that we need to put in our practice, in our routine, is that we need to really focus on resolve any trouble, any resentment with the brothers and sisters that we are going through in this life. And now we are coming to the end of our talk today. However, I want to point out some lessons that come from the spirit Dufret, and he's Bishop of Nevers, Bordeaux. And this is noted in the Spiritist Teachings, item 18 from chapter 10. So he says to us that the true character of charity is modesty and humility, which consists in seeing the defects of others only on the surface, and in taking an interest in valuing whatever is good and virtuous in them. For in the human heart is an abyss of corruption. There is always in a few of its hiddenmost corners the seed of a few good sentiments and a live spark of spiritual essence. So basically of what our friendly spirit here is saying to us is that nobody is all evil, right? We have said in different talks before that God does not created this our like us the spirits as good or evil, right? In fact, God created us simple and ignorant. So what that means is that, like our friendly spirit is saying here, is that we all have the seed of good sentiments in us, and we all have the spiritual essence that comes from God. what happens is that basically with our progress and our um, many lives, we ended up experiencing life differently, right? And we have some spirits that ended up being like stagnated in a more like, let's say, like primitive state. So what happens is, and then what our spirit, oh sorry, our friendly spirit here is saying is that um nobody is all evil. So even the person that may cause harm to a lot of people, there is good on her as well, right? So we need to focus on that good and not on that, on the mistakes or on the actions, right? It doesn't mean that our actions are not going to be uh, um, are not going to have consequences, right? But it means that we can see good in all the people, right? And that can be the way for us to uh, achieve the reconciliation faster. So basically, what he says to us is that we need to be strict with ourselves, but indulgent towards the weakness of others, because all of us have evil tendencies to overcome, the facts to correct, and habits to change. So, like I was saying, we are all imperfect spirits, right? So, even though maybe like here in this planet, we can see a lot of different variations, right? We can see uh, like, let's say, people that are committing very like bad actions, but we can see also people that are not. So we can definitely see that in the let's say in the scale of progress, we have many different examples here to think about that. However, we are still all imperfect, and that's why we need to be strict to ourselves, and we need to analyze ourselves and really try to develop in ourselves all the teachings that Jesus left us, including, charity and love towards others. Because, and this, like I was saying, this is the way that we will be able to look to the person that maybe commit some harm to us, and we will be able to be indulgent because we will be seeing the bigger picture, not only the action. And I want you to tell you guys a statement that I saw this week and that let me think a lot. And it is that we need to remember that today's offender has already been offended in another situation, or it is someone that felt that way. So, what's that mean is that because we have so many past lives and we are in this progress, we probably are constantly hurting someone or being hurt, right? And our actions towards people usually reflect the way that we experiencing all the situations, right? So that's a good way of thinking as well, is that even though maybe today I am the victim, but maybe in past lives I was the one being the offender, I was the one committing maybe even the same thing, the same action that I am receiving now, right? And God allow us to have those different experience for us to really expiate any wrongdoing that we may have, right? May have committed like in past lives. or it can be also a test for us to really see like how we are in the scale of progress, let's say. So in the end, what we all need to understand is that reconciling with our adversaries and forgiving is putting into practice the most important commandments, which is love and charity toward all and love for God above all things. And I want to finish with this passage, still from the Spirit's teachings, where our friendly spirit says that love for God summarizes all duties. And it is impossible to love Him truly without practicing charity, which He made into a law for all His creatures. So I found that it's a good way to finish our talk today. So thank you so much. And if you guys have any questions, I'm here for it. Okay.
Hello, Larissa. Wow, I think to answer all the questions, we need at least half an hour more. Was very very interesting topic, and brought us most of the question are related to this. But before I start with the question, I just remember, because you talk about the incarnation, you talk about the importance to forgive. So and this brought me a old saying that
Mhm.
don't live for tomorrow what you can do today. So, and I was thinking this is based on the Jesus world, oh, Jesus words, because he
Yeah.
said, "Do it today. Do this before you pray." And I said, "Oh my God, old saying the same thing about the gospel according Jesus Christ." And so those questions, most of them are the same subject. So I'm gonna say one, but technically is the same ones.
Okay, no problem.
The
Like I'm
first,
going to answer one and answer all. Is that what you're saying?
technically, yeah. Let's say I did this question for you. When you say forgiveness has physical effects in our lives, okay? Think about this. Another question is almost the same. Now another one,
Reconcile.
reconciliation
Yeah.
with our enemies and forgiveness with ourselves is very important, as you mentioned. What are some ways we can learn how to forgive truly from the heart?
Yeah. So, well, let's go back to your question, I guess.
Okay, let me put here a question here.
Well, both of them, right? So, like I was saying, the physical effects, it's related to reincarnation as well, right? Because, like I was saying, there is like a spiritual, like the physical effect, but like a spiritual one, which is the connections that we make, right? Even though it's hard for us to understand the physical part of the spiritual world, right? It's still, that's what our friendly spirits says, is that when we have like a situation with someone that is incarnated or it's not, um, we ended up creating those connections that with the reincarnations it can escalate, right? So maybe you are here, you are going with this person in the same in the current life, and then you have a disagreement that can end up having consequence in your next life, right? So that's kind of like the effects. I don't know, like if it was what you were thinking when you ask or not.
two two things is very, see, this subject is very important and give us this opportunity to think about our life, what we are doing here, because you said so many things, but in the end you concentrate the answer and I'm gonna comment. But see, another question is almost the same. Our brother Rodrigo, Is Jesus meaning that we need to solve our problem with other people as soon as possible? How can we do that with true forgiveness? So everybody start thinking, my God,
Mm-hmm.
forgiveness is not only to say, okay, I'm going to forgive this and that's it. No, there is
No.
consequences in this incarnation and in another ones too, like you
Yeah.
said. So,
Definitely. And the way that we can truly forgive, and Rodrigo, yes, you are correct. So we need to solve, and like Publio said, that saying, right? So we need to do whatever we can, whatever we can to solve any problem in this life, and not live to the others, right? Because we don't know what is the condition that we are going to come in the next ones. The other thing is to truly forgive, like Publio, you were saying, it's not just like saying with the mouth, right? So saying the words, asking for forgiveness should be the last step. Like it's really a process where you need to first acknowledge that you did something wrong, or that's like you were not maybe kind, or you maybe act to harm someone. So you need to first acknowledge that, then you would really truly think about the consequences of that to that person, and put yourself in the shoes of that person, right? With these sentiments, you would be able to actually go to that person and really ask for ask for forgiveness truly. And in the same way, if it's the contrary, right? If it's someone that maybe caused you harm, and it's another way of processing, right? You still because we may feel like offended, we may feel like it was not like justice that was made, you know what I mean? So it's really easy for us to think that we have the knowledge, and we have the rights to be angry, or to not accept for any forgiveness, or like, I don't want to talk with you anymore, and keep the disagreement, keep the anger, right? So this is another process, is that and what I talked about a little bit today is that we really need to see the weakness of the other person, and acknowledge that we all make mistakes. We all are imperfect spirits, trying to our best, right, to progress. And that is the best way for us to be to put ourselves in the shoes of the other person, right? Maybe with the same situation and with the same background of that person, you would do the same. You know what I mean? So even though we may not forgive, or we may not see with good eyes the action, we are able to forgive the person, right?
okay, I still have another one, and I know the time is flying, but it's a very important one too that finalize everything. And all those talk remind me a poem from a spirit called Alta de Souza, and
Hmm.
say that how important to take advantage the things that you can do today. Don't wait till tomorrow, because tomorrow, maybe in another reincarnation, is going to be a little bit harder, very different situation. But listen this comment from our brother Rod. Every moment, every day can be a great opportunity that we can take advantage or lose. And it is our duty to follow Jesus' instructions and progress. Larissa, thanks for the great talk.
Yeah, definitely. This kind of summarize, right? We need to see every opportunity as like our last one, right? Even though God will give us countless opportunities, we need to live each day feeling that we were able to do like our best to solve any situation, or to share our feelings and kind of try to really live our best, and putting into practice all these teachings that we are learning with these talks, and that it is in the gospel according to the Spiritism, right?
We'd like to say thank you, Larissa. Thank you very much, because this brought us this, like the feeling. What we're gonna see this in this free course that we have every Saturday.
Oh, yes, that's a great reminder, Publio, is that we are going to have a free course, an online course that's going to start September 10th, right? Get to know Spiritism. So if you are interested in joining us to the course and learn more about the Spiritism views of Jesus' teachings, that's a great opportunity.
Thank you, Larissa. Thank you very, very much in name of all the workers that are here, all the listeners. And we'd like to say thank you for the message that you brought us. Thank
Thank
you.
you. Thank you for having me. Bye-bye.
Thank you. Bye bye. But we're not finished yet. We're going to prepare for our spiritual treatment. What it is? What is spiritual treatment? It's it's a moment in our meeting that we have a pass. Pass is a transfusion of spiritual energy, assisting our physical, emotional, and mental balance. Uh, to best benefit from the spiritual treatment, please follow the guide audio instruction or remain in prayer as you wish. You may close your eyes to help with the mentalization. So we're gonna have the magnetized water. What it consists in receive healing energy from our body and soul, which your family and you can be benefit from. And for now, the spiritual treatment. Before, I'd like to invite you to join us in the prayer. That is going to be our final prayer too. So I'd like to invite you to close your eyes, thinking about the water, a waterfall, thinking about the Son, Jesus Christ, and in these moments, asking Him and God our Father the blessing for our night. Say thank you for the opportunities that we have, opportunities to learn, opportunity to forgive, opportunity to grow up, opportunity for this life. Thank you, Lord. In this moment, we ask the good spirits to be with us, helping us to promote our health, physical and spiritual. So be with us today and forever. So be it.
Let us now prepare ourselves for the moment of the passes and the magnetization of water. Let's now calm our hearts, breathing in and out. Pay attention to your body. Focus on your breath and let yourself be carried by this energy. Let your thoughts pass by without judging them. Let them flow. Allow this light to be the beacon that guides you, and allow these words to penetrate your energy. Make each word an anchor of gratitude, faith, and trust. With the purpose of healing, which takes away my faith, healing every feeling of separation, of pain, let it all dissolve in this moment, leaving only love, gratitude, and trust. We ask God for the presence of our guardian angel and the friendly spirits who welcome us into this enlightened environment of our Spiritist Center. We open our plexus of love and forgiveness by mentalizing a light surrounding our hearts. Find a quiet and comfortable place to begin the mentalization process. Remove all worries from your thoughts. We ask that during the pass you breathe slowly and deeply. Let your body relax and surrender yourself to a deep meditation. Calmly imagine divine energies in soft and colorful light surrounding you in an environment of peace and spiritual warmth. Entrusting God with your most intimate desires, raise your thoughts to Jesus and the emissaries of the spiritual environment. The path begins with the cleansing of your soul. Imagine a waterfall of crystal clear water pouring over us, removing all the feelings that keep you away from faith and trust. Feel the energy of this water bathing you and deeply breathe in, feeling peace and harmony. Allow this water to wash away all the impurities and spiritual larvae, washing away all the sorrows and resentments, any feelings of hatred and revenge that hold us back and cause us harm, not only from this life, but past ones as well. Now visualize spiritual doctors around you, applying magnetic cleansing passes, sanitizing your spiritual body of all sadness and negative energy. Mentalize these negative thoughts and feelings being washed away, evaporating from your soul, like water evaporating into thin air, and being carried far away from your mind. Surround yourself with the faith that bathes your being, bringing clarity and lucidity, rebalancing every cell in your body. May the water envelop all pain and bring the clarity of opportunity that chooses peace. The answer arises in our hearts, freeing us from all evil and freeing all whom we have caused evil into and who have caused us evil, washing away all the connections that bind us. Even though we may not understand, we are freeing ourselves from all that causes us harm. Feel this cleansing penetrate your soul and release. Now that we are spiritually cleansed, imagine yourself surrounded by the light of love from the hands of Jesus. At this moment, sing words of faith and gratitude, being faithful to the light that exists in me, planted by the zealous Father. Imagine the sunlight that surrounds and enraptures, freeing us from the chains of everything that holds us down, strengthening your faith. Allow yourself to trust in this light, surrender to it, involved in pleasant feelings and feeling relieved to receive the strengthening lights. Mentalize your spiritual mentors now applying divine light for the strengthening of your mind and your emotions, leaving you feeling emotionally revitalized. Let us now mentalize the magnetization of this water. May we mentalize all the friendly spirits, magnetizing this water and filling it with everything that our bodies, minds, and soul need, so that it may be of help to us when we drink it after the pass. Thank you, God.
I'd like to say thank you, everyone, to be with us and reinforce the invite to be with us next week. And if you are interested in our free course on Saturdays online, please enjoyed us, we're gonna put in our page the link for subscription. So thank you very much for joining us tonight, and have a wonderful week. Have a good night.
Someone told me long ago that life is just a long road. Sorry, mate, but life to me is way much more. No matter what it seems to be, it's always time to make a change. Sometimes all we need is only one more chance. So try. Build that bridge over troubled waters, fly. If that's all that you have left to do, I want more. I want more happy sunny days. I want more happy smiles on your face. Love sparkling the eyes. Tears no more, no more sorrows, no more bad days. No more cries, no more dark hope. No more fear, no more fight. Someone told me long ago that life is just a long road. Sorry, babe, but life to me is way much more. No matter what it seems to be, it's always time to make a change. Sometimes all we need is only one more chance. So try, build a bridge over troubled water, fly. If that's all that you have left to do, I want more. I want more happy sunny days. I want more happy smiles on your face. Love sparkling the eyes. Tears no more, no more sorrow, no more bad days. No more cries, no more dark cold place. No more fear, no more fight. I want more happy sunny days. I want more happy smiles on your face. Love sparkling the eyes. Tears no more, no more sorrow, no more bad days. No more cries, no more dark cold place. No more fear, no more fight. Let the sun walk on the way, shine, shine. Let the sun walk